think I know what you're getting at. You know,
Yeah.
it's like the Trump administration are not people who care about saying the quiet part out loud.
Right.
In fact, it's their superpower in some ways. It's like that's what makes MAGA fans go, finally,
Yeah.
somebody said it, somebody's got the balls.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not wrong. And so, you know, I mean,
What has Trump been right on?
well, I think he was right to attack Iran.
Oh, I highly disagree.
Yeah, I know. I figured
What do you
you
mean?
would.
Why?
Because I do think of you as like sort of that, like down the line liberal, like down the line.
I mean, in some ways, I'm definitely. I mean, I'm politically more Democrat socialist. I believe.
See, socialist. Again, I think you're plainly then you're to the left of me if you even say you're a socialist.
Well, I said democratic socialist.
I know, but that I know what a democratic socialist is. That's Mandami. Straight up communist.
No,
I mean,
he's not.
Okay,
No, he's
okay,
not.
okay. He has someone working.
Bill.
Can I?
Yeah.
Can I,
all right.
He is, first of all.
Okay.
He has someone working for him named Sia Weaver.
Okay.
Have you read about her?
I have not.
See, that means you're in a bubble
Okay.
because you should have.
Okay.
Okay,
so
let me tell you who
I
she
will,
is. She's
edify
like
me.
she's like one of his top lieutenants. She's had his big issue was the rent's too high.
Mm-hmm.
She's the head of like we're going to fix housing.
Mm-hmm.
This is like what got him elected. He has not disavowed her, and I could show you all her tweets that she's put out over the last few years in quotes. And one of them is elect more communists.
Communism does not want to take away your property or your wages and give them to the government. Rather, it's against privatized property. Communism sees private property as anything that earns you profit just by owning it. So owning a business or a house that you rent out, things that make you money without you actually having to do the work. And communism defines the bourgeoisie as the class that owns those assets and the proletariat as the working class that sells their labor to rent those assets. So communism just advocates abolishing the structure that allows one class to own things and another class to have to work and be exploited to be able to use those things. And the end goal of communism is a classless, moneyless society where we produce just what we need as human beings and everyone gets to have what they need. Now, in America, we're currently in late-stage capitalism because so much of what we need is privatized, and the gap between the owning class and the working class is getting wider and wider. And at some point, it's going to break because the working class will no longer be able to afford what they need to live. And the next transitional step before full communism is socialism. The government still exists under socialism, it's just reformed. And the goal of socialism is to move some of the means of production back into workers' hands. And some countries have already implemented this, but it allows for less class distinction and division between the owning and labor classes. And if we at least can get here, we'll all be able to breathe a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you have to read between the lines if somebody he stands with and by is saying, and also her other quotes are like, all home ownership is racist.
Well, that's
Even
ridiculous.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes, I have an issue with that thing that she said. I don't know this woman. I will definitely look her up. I'm a fan of Mamdani's. I'm a fan of, and I lived in New York for 25 years.
Still smoke pot?
Yeah. No, I mean, I wish. It just doesn't, I'm not good with it, and it took me fucking forever to learn my lesson, you know? I wish I could, because I
Did you used to? I feel like I've smoked pot with you.
No, I did. I just don't, my brain doesn't work well on it. You know what I mean?
Sure. You just said you like Mandami. Yeah. Well, let's not argue about...
For me, it's not an argument. It's a conversation.
Okay, right.
I don't feel like it's an argument.
Okay.
And I think he also going from the administrations that ran New York from when I moved there. I mean, they weren't. You know, Bloomberg was okay in a relative sense, but But I mean, De Blasio and Adams are just not good. De Blasio was kind of feckless, and Adams was absolutely corrupt, blatantly. And I think at the least, I think most New Yorkers feel this way. Like, let's give this guy a chance.
I agree with that.
Okay,
totally. I'm not
let's
judging him by what he's done because it's too early and we don't know what he's going to do. And he could wind up being an effective administrator.
I think he's going to be like LaGuardia. I really do.
He could wind up being an effective administrator, but his philosophical pinnings, and I could read other things from the Democratic Socialist Party that show that it's not different than communism. A lot of it. It is. I mean, it's about. They have statements about like the government should take over industries and so forth. Like, I mean,
well, I don't believe that, and I'm not a communist. And
they do. But that's part of when I hear democratic socialist. I'm telling you, you can read up on those.
Sure. I mean, the people I'm fans of politically. Call themselves democratic socialists, align with that. Bernie Sanders, AOC.
Bernie is not a communist.
No, he's a democratic socialist, and
that's true.
And
there's that wing. Yes.
And I've spent over the years a bunch of time in Scandinavia and those countries that are democratic socialist, and they're fucking awesome. Now, I don't live there, and I would imagine that I would miss certain things, but I mean, when you look at the list of, and they just came out with the 2025 list, the happiest places on earth, and it's always the same. It's always the same thing. And one of the outstanding things about all those countries, whether it's Denmark or Finland or whatever, is one is freedom, and the other is lack of suspicion in their neighbors, I guess, or people in their community, small and large.
Yeah, I totally agree. I did a whole editorial once on the idea that kind of European socialism made people happier for this reason, that happiness is not just what you have, which is what we think in America.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
What you don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
What you don't have to sweat. And they don't sweat healthcare.
Yep.
They don't sweat college.
Yeah.
They don't sweat being taken care of.
Daycare,
yeah. Things like that. Now, there are things
they have more vacation days.
Yes, that too.
They are happier.
That is probably what makes them happier. And that is just not, so far, the American character, which is, no, you know what, I'm going to give up those things for the chance to, if I do hit it big, I want all. I mean, we're greedy people.
Absolutely.
And we also are
100%
ambitious. There's the good and the bad in the American character.
Okay, so David Cross was on Bill Maher's Stupid Boomer podcast that he has. And while I have watched hundreds of David Cross clips and interviews in the last several years, and I do not find him at all personality-wise appealing these days, even though I do absolutely love him as a comedic actor. Tobias in Arrested Development is a flawlessly written character, and I absolutely loved him in Scary Movie 2. That's one of my favorite comedies of all time. Anyways, this is the only time I've ever agreed with something he said recently, where he finally is the first person on Bill Maher's podcast seemingly to actually give real genuine pushback to Bill Maher and his absolutely ludicrously insane ideas that have absolutely no education behind them. And finally, someone kind of called him out and stood their ground a bit. So mad respect to David Cross.
Straight up communist. Straight up communist.